Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Collision. I'm just gonna say it. First things first. This was a really great episode. Really great vibe. There was that one thing. And we're gonna talk about it in a second. But overall, this felt so good. And I actually would say that I preferred this episode over Dynamite. I thought this from top to bottom, for the most part, except for that one thing, was pretty good, and it made me feel ready for the show that they're going to have in Australia next week. We did start off with Moxley, who came in and ran into the ring with Marina. And long story short, Marina attacked one of the security guards so they can make their way in, got in the ring, and John Moxley said, "Look, Adam, I know you want to get your hands on this title, but I'm not going to go against you. I don't like your ass. And if I would have ever get my hands on you, I'll probably break your fucking neck." And honestly, I believe him. He probably would. Now, after that, that was literally it. And they just end up leaving. It could have been a little bit more, but fine. We'll take it for what it is. There was no crazy attacks or what they've been doing for the past few months. He just came in, said what he had to say, and leave. Fine. Now, they were in Houston, Texas. And when I tell you this crowd was red hot all night, I fucking loved the crowd. They were just so great, nice and loud. And that helps. I cannot tell people more than enough times that crowd participation is so important. It really helps with the vibe. Now, we start off with a three-way trios match. We had Adam Cole teaming up with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong versus Danny Garcia, Daddy Magic, and Angelo Parker versus Shane Taylor and Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. This, oh my God, while it was predictable, was so good. So good. All the teams were just red hot tonight. Everybody was on point. You guys know when it comes to these multi-man matches, there's always that part of the match when every single person in the match get into the ring and it gets messy. It wasn't too messy. It was pretty good, actually, and I just thought, wow, this is a really great way to start off the show. Personally, maybe even a little biasly, I'm thinking, hey, it's Black History Month. Can we get a win this month? Baby, one win this month with Shane Taylor Promotions. And we don't end up getting that. We end up getting the Undisputed Kingdom to end up taking the win, which is the route that I thought they was going to take with this anyway. Now, after this match, I'm thinking, all right, well, then maybe we're just gonna I don't know, what happens here at this point? There's nothing for them to go for. You have this trios match, a really great trios match, no trios titles for them to go to. And that's when the Death Riders came out of the blue and attacked everybody, especially the Kingdom. And the Kingdom end up making their way a little bit of a comeback and getting the Death Riders to get the hell up out of here. And long story short, Adam Cole gets on the mic and say, hey, we're next in line for these trios titles. Y'all have had them long enough. Y'all been hogging these titles for fucking months now. And we're going to get our hands on them titles next week on Dynamite. While I am not opposed of that, I just hate how it just seems like every time somebody say, I want to get my hand on the title, it's the very next week. Why not let stuff progress? We have not seen anything with Death Riders and the Undisputed Kingdom. Why can't we get a little back and forth with these guys and just save it for fucking Revolution that is like a month away? Something where we can see things play out with them. That's the only thing I didn't really like about that. But other than that, Adam Cole is really not doing it for me in terms of being what looks like the leader of this group. But overall, this match was amazing. Really, really great way to start off the show. After this, we heard from FTR that's basically saying that, hey, we done just being out in the shadows. We coming from the tag team titles. Come on, baby. Come on, get that shit from the fucking Her Syndicate. Let's see you try. Now, after this, Max Caster is back there. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with Max Caster. And basically, he still has this open challenge thing where he is the best wrestlers alive and he's going to have these series of matches and somebody's going to have to beat him on Dynamite. Personally, I don't think anybody's connecting with us. I really don't. But let them do whatever it is that they're doing with Max Caster. I'm not going to tell a black man not to get a little TV time. So whatever with that. Now, after this, I would have said this was the best match, but then the main event, which is fucking out of this world, Bandito versus the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. Now, I was really upset that they called him the Bad Apple when really he came out with his bounty hunter gear. Now, a few days ago, Chris Jericho said that he was putting a bounty on Bandito for $200,000, and he wanted Brian Keith to take care of it. Brian Keith come out there with his bounty hunter gear, and when I tell you, they tore that shit up. They tore up. They were in Texas. And what's his name? Brian is from Texas, so the crowd was cheering for him. But then after a while, they were really behind Bandito as well, so they were equally cheering for both of these guys. And the camera shots here were really, really great. This is one of those situations. Now, hear me out. Maybe some people might not agree. Where if this was a cinematic match, I would be cool with it. I would be so cool with two bounty hunters. They played off the bounty hunter thing throughout the match, and they gave us the camera angles to really make you feel like you're seeing two bounty hunters, like a Western style match. And I thought this was really thought out. So kudos to Bandito and Brian Keith. And I've said it for so long that I've been a Brian Keith fan prior to him being in AEW. I know what he's like in the ring, and I felt like since he's been in AEW, at least let me just put it this way, since he's been part of the learning tree, that the fans have really missed out on what Brian Keith actually has to offer. And tonight, I felt like we saw it, and I was so motherfucking proud. Obviously, though, Bandito ends up taking the win because, he's been gone for quite some time. But still, it was really, really great. If you did not see this, go ahead and check this out. This was done beautifully. I love this match. After this, we do get a little update from Powerhouse Hobbs. He is looking forward to getting his hands on somebody at Dynamite. He is obviously wanting to go against Big Bill once again. Well, they haven't had a match, but they did have a whole little thing going on where they beat the shit out of each other. And since then, we really haven't seen much of Hobbs because he was kind of injured. Now, here's the thing. I'm cool with that. I was kind of hoping that maybe pay-per-view. This is one of those situations where it's like these are young guys that can really get a big opportunity. Put these guys, make this story feel important enough for them to have a pay-per-view time in a match. I really hope that that's where we're going. I don't know if that's the case, but I hope we get there. After this, we have Roosh, Dralistico, Beast Muertos. Oh my God, Beast Muertos! In trios action. They didn't even announce this shit. Okay, I think they just came up with it when they realized that there was a little bit too much extra time. I don't know. Now, they end up doing that, and then, oh my God. So they went against local talent. The match was over in it was very quickly, and they only had one of them guys in the ring anyway. And I'm okay with it because I got a chance to see Beast Muertos this week. Now, after the match, LFI, they're beating up on local talent still. And then Commander came out there, Captain Saberhold, to come help local talent. Who's surprised about that? And then Commander's getting his ass whooped. And then Alex Abrahantes came out there to do what? To just stand all the way back there while a Commander get his ass whooped? I don't know what that was about. And then all of a sudden, the lights turn off. And we see hologram on the big screen. And it was like, okay, it felt like it lasts forever. Something about it felt like it lasts way longer than it should have. And then hologram actually comes out, the music and the whole thing with the camera angles, and he's coming out with the glow in the dark jacket and all that stuff. And I was like, baby, you're not like a superhero or something. I know they want to make it seem like hologram is a big deal or whatever. It probably is for the kids. But something about it felt like LFI was just waiting for this whole movie to be finished so that hologram would come in the ring and take care of them. Now, while all that is happening, Beast Muertos pretty much still got his foot at Commander's neck. Hologram come in there and take care of business and kind of beats up LFI. I don't know what that was about. Pretty much like Spider-Man just coming in and save the day. I didn't really care too much for that. But it's great to see hologram back. And it almost looked like, because at the end of all this, hologram and Commander do this little pose in the middle of the ring. And I was like, I know y'all not a new tag team. If this is the case, my nightmare has come true. After this, we do have Thunder Rosa, who's going to be having her match. She comes across Megan Bayne backstage, and she's happy to see Megan. And Megan is just like, I don't talk to peasants. And she just ended up walking away. And I thought that was really interesting. Now, after this, Hardy Cameron little halftime concert. She started singing, but it was not long. Maybe a minute of singing, if that, before Mercedes came on out there. Now, Carly, she had a baby carrier, the carrier that you put either in the front of you or you can put in the back. Mostly see this in the front because it's more for like newborns. And in the baby carrier was Puppet Monet, which has been absolutely over since we've seen this puppet, okay? And honestly, I don't care too much for singing when it comes to wrestling. I don't want to hear no concert. This is a wrestling show. Like, what is all this? Now, for some people, that's entertaining. Whatever. Mercedes come out there. There's actually another guitar in the ring, so I thought Mercedes was gonna hit her upside the head with the other guitar, and that doesn't happen. You know, Harley, she wants to have a match in Australia, especially in Australia where she's from, with Mercedes. And she kind of gave a heartfelt little promo about how she really wants this. And Mercedes is so successful. She wants to be like that and all that stuff. It's not like she was about to cry. And I was like, girl, there's no crying in wrestling. You either going to get in the ring, get your ass whooped, or you're going to whoop some ass. Now, these two end up getting into it. Harley ends up putting her hands on Mercedes, and the crowd is cheering for Harley. They want to see her win, and Mercedes like, you know what, bitch, bring it on for all for I'm about to say all in for Australia. I'll whoop your ass. Now I'm pretty sure she's gonna whoop her ass. However, this whole thing has really gone over with Harley. She's done such an amazing job, and for those of you who don't know, Harley, as much as people probably think that they hate each other, Harley actually trains with Mercedes. So if you look on social media, you'll see the pictures and some videos of them. They've been training for a few months now. So I do feel like this match would be good. Not going to be the best that you're seeing Mercedes do, but I do feel like there's going to be some great things here. And although I don't think Harley's going to win, I think that this is definitely the step in the right direction for her being one of the bigger stars in terms of the women's division. I can't wait to see what's in store for Harley. After this, we have a face-to-face little interview with Buddy Matthews. Lexi Nair's there. Okada came in whenever he felt like coming in, and he just told the staff, can you get me some water? I'm thirsty as hell. Where the fuck is my water? And Buddy Matthews is pretty much doing all the talking, and like literally the only thing that Okada said is bitch. And while, now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't what it should have been. In terms of the energy from Okada. I just feel, I don't know if it has anything to do with the language barrier, where maybe Okada could have been able to say more that could have made this whole face-to-face thing look much better than what it was. But I just feel like there was not enough said, not enough did, in terms of them being confrontational with each other. It's just Okada saying bitch again. We all can say it, you know, and I think they could have done a little bit more. But either way, still looking forward to that match between Buddy and Okada. After this, they wasted a motherfucking time. This is the only part that I would just say skip. Absolutely skip. Dustin Rhodes going against local talent, did 2 moves and 1. Got on the mic to talk about Death Riders, got on the mic to talk about MJF and all this stuff. We don't give a fuck. No, did he talk about Death Riders? No, never mind. He didn't say anything about Death Riders. He was talking about MJF and whatever, about being old. Everything that Dustin said the last time we heard from Dustin, which was literally on Wednesday, is everything he said again, like almost word for word. And I was just like, so you came out to do this? Hardly little concert could have went on a little longer than that. The confrontation thing back there with Okada and Buddy could have gone on a little bit longer. Absolute waste of time. I'm just going to put it this way. I don't think it has anything to do with there being old wrestlers in AEW, whatever people are talking about. It's not that. It's just that there are some people, the Hurt Syndicate, they're in their late 40s, early 50s. Our stepdaddy Christian is like, what, 52. These guys are interesting. They still have enough to give, and people can gravitate towards these characters and wrestlers still. Dustin, while I do feel like he still wrestles really well in the ring, in terms of story and what he has to offer in terms of storylines with other wrestlers right now, I don't feel like people are connecting with any of that shit. And plus, you have 2 sets of titles on Ring of Honor. Show your ass up on Ring of Honor and stay out of fucking AEW ring. If you're not going to be defending these other titles that you have, people just don't give a fuck at this point. Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, up next. Tore that shit up. Really great job. Penelope, she's really underrated. She needs more TV time. If they're not going to feature her on Dynamite and Collision often, I do feel like best case scenario is to put her on Ring of Honor and give her that TV time. Let her do some matches, something. Now, Thunder Rosa ends up taking the win, and they did really well. I personally, I wouldn't even care which way this would have gone. But after this though, Megan comes out there. She walks slowly out to the ring. As she's walking out there, Penelope's like, you know what? Let me beat this girl ass up. So she keeps beating up on Thunder Rosa, and then Megan gets her hands on Thunder Rosa, and she's standing tall after F5. And I was just like, holy shit, do y'all not see Megan? That girl is so beautiful, and she is very, very powerful. So this is going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with Megan and Thunder Rosa. After this, Bun B, the rapper Bun B in Houston, he has this burger chain called Trill Burgers, and I have to taste it. I have to taste it. I just want it one day. We'll see. Now, he is back there. I guess they're selling burgers or they're promoting, whatever the situation is. And Ricochet come on out there. He's like, oh, you friends with Swerve. I know who you are. Basically, just talking shit about Swerve and Prince Nana in front of Bun B. And even ends up taking one of the burgers and tries it, spits it out back into the burger box. And then he even snatches up one of the guys who were, giving out burgers or whatever, selling the burgers. And honestly, I thought it was Colt Cabana. It kind of looked like him, but it wasn't. And, he ends up laughing in Bun B's face. This was actually pretty good. I thought it was really cool to, even though we didn't have Swerve there, to see someone who's affiliated with Swerve to actually be on and have a little time here with Ricochet. They also showed from the show last night, Defy Wrestling, where, Swerve originally, came from the original promotion that he used to wrestle in back in Seattle, where he's from. He was on there last night. Ricochet was on there on Defy Wrestling, and he also had the embassy jacket, and he was talking shit about Swerve, Prince Nana. They pulled up on him at the show, and Ricochet got hurt, and here he is on Saturday night running his mouth. Y'all already know we're running it back with Swerve and Ricochet. Actually, if they do, I'm looking forward to it. Ricochet have never been this interesting this entire time that we've known him for these past few years. And I think AEW is an amazing job with him. I can't wait to see where the story goes. Now, after this, Mariah May against local talent that happens to look like Toni Storm. She beats her in like 2 moves. And after that, she holds her down, takes out her little purse, and put lipstick all over her face, put a robe on her to make her look even more like Toni Storm. And then after that, we hear music, and it's Luther. Luther came out there. Everybody's losing this shit because we miss Luther. Luther came out there with a platter, silver platter, and took off the little thing that was on the platter, and it was the white sheet with the blood on it. Mariah takes it, and then she's going to go attack the local talent. But when she goes to go to the local talent, that's when we see it's now Toni Storm that was laying down there, and then they get into it. It was so freaking good. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I actually can't wait to see their match. I know they're going to tear it up. The story has just been so good. After this, we do have Toni Storm, who is on the shoulders of Luther, and they're celebrating. I don't know. Something about it just made me feel good. Everybody was feeling it. Really great vibes. What they've been doing with Toni has been freaking amazing. After this, though, Don Callis' family back there. They beating people up. Just random people that's back there. Wrong place, wrong time type of situation. And they're getting hurt. Mark Davis is back there, but Mark Davis is kind of like, well, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all hurting innocent people? And then Lance Archer and Brian Cage say, you and the Don Callis family, you gonna get into it and beat these people up too. And he actually does. Now he's beating up people back there. I kind of like how we see Mark Davis still kind of not necessarily sure about what he's doing with this group, but you know what it's all about, Mark. Don't be confused at this point. Get your hands on people and just hurt them. That's cool with me. Main event. Amazing main event. Kyle Fletcher with Pastor Briscoe. Holy moly, it was so good. I was impressed. Kyle Fletcher. I've been saying this for quite some time. Kyle Fletcher, this guy is the future of AEW, the future of pro wrestling. Tony Khan needed to protect this guy at all costs. This match was so good. Pastor Briscoe, always resilient, and, bringing chairs, bringing tables into the mix and whatnot, just to make things a spin of his own in this match. And when I tell you, like, both of these guys did such an amazing job. You guys know back in the Continental Classic, Kyle Fletcher took the only loss against Pastor Briscoe during the Continental Classic, so we ran it back before they go to Australia next Saturday. And man, I was just mesmerized by these two. I was just like, when people are talking about they want to see a great main event, this is what they're talking about. When you got 20 minutes left on the show and you got these two guys that are willing to put their all out there for that last little 20 minutes. They even gave us a little something in terms of the overtime money. You know, it went through and we got a couple of minutes after the top of the hour, and they tore it up. The crowd absolutely love it. They're loud. They're interested. You could tell everybody's into this. This was a really great crowd. Man, I wish I was there. I'm not even gonna lie. I wish I was there. But anyway, this was just absolutely what you want to see in terms of how a show ends. We had an amazing main event on Dynamite with Swerve and Ricochet, and then we have another amazing main event here, even though that match was a little short. But tonight, I thought they did amazing, and overall, this show felt so much better than Dynamite. Kaya Fletcher takes the win, and rightfully so. Pastor Briscoe did amazing. I really, really loved this match. I thought overall this was a really good show. We have Kaya Fletcher who gets on the mic, basically saying that, hey, on Saturday, I'm going to get my hands on Will Ospreay. Now, I thought it was interesting that he said Will Ospreay and didn't even mention Kenny Omega, because at the end of the day, that's who he is beefing with. It's always going to be Will Ospreay. So Kenny, whoever it would have been partners with Will Ospreay, his goal is for everyone to know that he is better than Will Ospreay. And for him to end the show with him just standing tall on the top rope and just posing and all that stuff was a really great way to prioritize young wrestlers, up and coming wrestlers that have so much to give. We need to see more and more of that. And, you know, Tony Khan, we got to get it rolling. We got to get it rolling. We had a great week, I think, within AEW. We even Ring of Honor was a little better than usual. Okay, so keep this up. Next week we got a show on Saturday in Australia. I'm hoping for a really great show. The card looks great. Dynamite has to just knock it out of the park, because there's no Collision. It's going to be the show at Australia. So whatever they got to put their all into Dynamite to really, really rally everyone together to want to see the show next Saturday for Grand Slam Australia. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back on Wednesday with Dynamite. See you guys then. Bye.